Caw, foolish mortals. Caw. Caw. Bro, this guy is emo as heck. You're getting attacked by a bird. My sincerest apologies in advance for what you might notice is low energy on my part. I was unaware that whilst recording this video, I was slowly succumbing to fever and would become gravely ill by the conclusion. I hope you can enjoy this video anyway, and don't worry, I stopped recording after and got some help. And now we're feeling great. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all. Athena! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine," in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout, and a must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right. Here, I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Alright, I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine. I think that actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. An old friend, eh? Who's your old friend, Apollo? Would it be somebody that maybe you defend later? I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. What's with all the racket, you two? Mr. Wright. Just a little voice workout? Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back. That's all. That's all? That's huge news, but why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. I'm so used to him being in his usual fit. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. Been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. I knew he was gonna be bad news. It's probably just a hyperbole. At least I hope for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! Better tone down my Chords of Steel, too. So, are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright. But I'm fine. Yeah, there's a lot in here. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks!
Okay, let's do this.
The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client, seek the truth, that's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice! Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice defense team leader is ready, Your Honor. I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you?
I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner, and fresh out of law school.
Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. I'm so excited. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
dude.
I'm scared.
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
That's some long hair, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Guys. Yeah, stay that way. That way I don't even look into your emo eyes. Who's that with his back to us over there?
That's him, I'm sure of it. Professor Blackwell.
Is the prosecution ready? Oh gosh, what am I gonna do with his voice? Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. I feel like he'd just be like, deadpan. Can I do deadpan? Oh, of course, forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well. Prosecutor Blackwell. Hey! What's the matter? He's in chains. He's literally in chains. Must we continue to fritter away time like this? An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? So, well... Looks like the cat, or in this case the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness, if it's so very important, why don't you do the honors? Who, me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Huh?
Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement?
Wow. You're a plague to the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace.
What? He actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about.
The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Kyobi, alderman of Nine Tails Vale. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and secretary are the potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So, in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Oh ho, flattery will get you everywhere.
He's playing Simon Says with the judge.
Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I'm detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here.
I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I've been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what?
Still, I truly believe...
Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit justice means. Must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say. Ignorance is bliss.
Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious.
Now let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it. First, I'd like to say the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. This guy's nuts. Alderman Kyobi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found in the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kyobi was asleep from a drug he was unwittingly ingested.
Mayor Tema attacked his helpless victim, impaling like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed the statue and struck back. Alderman Kyobi had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right. The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. These dang autopsy reports. And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear. That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe that he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you at the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, for my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree? Your baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict, and the trial's just started. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that, buddy. They say he seeks the murder for the purpose of freeing Temataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no reason to show interest in the backlit bird. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek the release of an imaginary demon. Either way, he's raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. Alright, break time. Bubbler time. Alright, Bubbler, I'm waiting for my sponsorship. That mayor is strange. I already went to Bubbler. Dude. Order. There will be no gossiping in my court. Your baldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Temataro. Then again, perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. Hold it! The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tema have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Whew, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than his statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. 2 yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox and the other is Temataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case— oh my goodness, stop pressing buttons! I'm supposed to be the expert Ace Attorney player and I keep skipping dialogue. Alright, cross-examination time. Bro, this guy is emo as heck. My Chemical Romance can never— I just feel like there's nothing to present right now, but maybe I'm missing them. Bro, there's no prints on the weapon.
Objection!
I need to start reading the evidence better. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him, but the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? This can't be... Did I arrest the wrong man? You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who did you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber? Exactly, and this could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion? The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade. Justice Dono? Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. There's a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that bloodstained cloth found in the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now let's see. How was the cloth used? Oh, did he wrap the statue? Probably. Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used to strike back at the mayor. Hi! Precisely. I was like, did I get it wrong? Bully for you, boy. Oh, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you, too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? Oh, I did. Right. A statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. That also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. Well, I figured, but now do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that. He always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef. It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all. I was kinda attached to that hole, now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anyone could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence do you have? Oh, I'll give you evidence, all right. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from the yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting. Whoa, my voice just went.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry, guess I got carried away.
Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense.
Sorry, Your Honor, it's just, this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch, you meanie, I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the Elderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Oh, boy, Fulbright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Ah, our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tema panicked when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like the yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the Elderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon, Temataro, that is. I have a feeling by the end of this, I'm going to be proving the existence of a demon. Tema who? Temataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon. And thus were they blinded to the other, more impossible explanations.
Hold it!
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at the Kyobi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Temataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Temataro. However, the police believed that the person in the Temataro suit is the killer. Ike! The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the Elderman. And thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tema would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Ninetales is feeling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers in the hometown favor. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do people of Ninetales Vale really believe that yokai lies behind this crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well. Now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears? If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Kyobi?
Excellent point.
It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees that there is no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was one on the spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman Kyobi's secret identity. Apollo! I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. That's what he just said. He just said that. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetails. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but what? Why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Well, could it really be? Your baldness hasn't had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Kyobi, was the amazing Ninetails, and the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. I was hoping they wouldn't find out about that. Because, yeah, it was a pretty good motive for murder. Order! What a shocking development. A motive clearer than crystal clear. What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we've reached my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. Very astute of you, your baldness. Right, now take a look at this. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetails' veil with Temata. This blackmail letter was found in the Alderman Kyobi's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, did the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Temma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder? And planted it on the Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Mayor Temma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planning the yokai things. But he was knocked out cold by his sudden decision to kill the Amazing Ninetails. So it was the Amazing Ninetails' counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a second. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the Alderman after planning the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. That's what I thought. Okay. If there's ever 4 statements, well, you usually have to press 1 to get 5. Mayor Temma killed the sleeping Alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. So this makes no sense. So hold on. So let's look at the crime scene photo. These are not covered in blood. The blood is under the feathers. That makes no sense.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence and then was knocked out by killing his victim. No. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. Over here, over here. Oh my gosh, not there.
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks? Yeah. Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood and the tracks were made in blood. In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the Alderman. But you said it yourself, the mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There wouldn't have been time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else beside the mayor and the Alderman at the crime scene. There must be some mistake. Sorry, I got a point. Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Temma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Temma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Temma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something? The defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your baldness, it appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it!
Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in this statement here. Jinxie Temma asserted that she saw Temma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here. That she saw Temma Taro fleeing towards the foyer. The defense assertion that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? They proved there was someone else. I love the gallery. The prosecutor is a convicted felon. Like, credit. Apollo! The momentum has shifted in our favor. Good. Now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Objection. Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this, that yokai impersonator had indeed fled towards the foyer. That fool and that fop would have seen him. And they're trying to say they didn't. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. They haven't stated that they saw yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? I need to get a feather. Why didn't those two see the Temma Taro impersonator pass by? Why didn't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of Kyobi Manor, to the stand. I know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't argue the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell? I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up as a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Bailiff, go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. He might talk because the Frenchman's not there. Will the witness state his name and occupation? Name's Filch. Phineas Filch, caretaker of Kyobi Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. What a fabulous pair of shoes, and your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. Ah, those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sure. What? But they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon that they'll be perfect for someone like your honorship. It's kind of a gesture, but legal ethics dictate I can't accept such gifts. Oh, ethics schmecks. Just take them if you want them. Polish them up real nice for you, too. I can't figure out my accent for him. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Temma Taro in the foyer after the murder. Oh, we're gonna do the thing with the emotions, probably, because he's gonna lie. He's gonna say, no. That's the whole testimony. At the time of the murder, I was in the guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Kyobi asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to her guests. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree. Hey, okay, you keep jabbering on about was a phantom of the little girl's dreams. So you're telling me you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed like Temma Taro? Yep, was guarding the whole time, and that's the truth, and holy and money and butter are the truth. And Tamataro, bah, you don't really believe in all that yokai mumbo jumbo, do you? I certainly don't. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. My bracelet, it's reacting. Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Sorry, let me just grab my bracelet. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell. Maybe him is squeezing his scarf? Some sort of nervous habit? What the? I'm getting attacked by a bird. What's a hawk doing in here? Dude! Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. Why? He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse. Made it his new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail? Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. That queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear boss and buzzard. This isn't some... Hey! I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! What is happening? I'm getting attacked by a bird. No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Hey, somebody help! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Temma there, Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Please proceed with the cross-examination. So I can't use my superpower. So we gotta figure out what the problem is. Oh, he was probably watching the show.
Objection!
Yeah. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwalk a fellow like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. Ah, I didn't watch that one, no siree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yipes. Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, it was a complete disaster. Arrgh. So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your trudy-tooty poet lawyer talk. I'm one of those professional types, you know? I can do double duty, watch TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional at is a professional thief. Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. That's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Bald, you say, but I'm not the one who's lying. Perhaps you meant the witness. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. Watch this. TV's here. Foyer's here.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction of the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his ears should be, I think it'd be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Why, yes, someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly, and that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim. Yikes, the bad's out of the cat. I mean, other way around. Order! Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's lessons stellar work ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Tematero impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? Recorded? This. Hey! Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki? They were? I mean, yeah, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't? My eyes may be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer floor and the gateway are all creaky squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Not enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep. My ears are working full time, so who's the liar now? You no good shyster? A lying thief called me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackquill, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing, and them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under the penalty of painful bird attacks. With that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there's all creaky squeaky, like, no way I would have missed something while walking by. So you see, there were no Tematera on the floor. Wasn't the door closed? Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai demons and such. We must use common sense, for lacking that our entire world would be but upside down. Says the convict prosecutor, who is totally a sign of the end times for the legal world. Besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was seeing things. That seems to be a general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if you can't prove she saw Temataro, the mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. The defense may cross-examine the witness. See, that's a sweaty towel, so we know it's gotta be here. Why don't we press it first?
Hold it!
So you have a pretty good ears, Mr. Filch. As good as they come, I'd say, and nothing to your creaky floor. Plus, that Temataro makes a good sound when he walks by. It's like a jingle jangle. Jingle jangle? How does he do that? It's a staff of his. That's what jingle jangles. What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Temataro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that too? She said that she saw Temataro holding a staff-like object that made a jingle jangle sound. I guess that's the source of the noise then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Temataro jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Yeah. Extremely vital. A request to be added to the testimony. Okay. His staff would have gone jingle jangle. His staff would have gone jingle jangle, eh? There is no staff here.
Objection!
Temataro's staff would have made a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm gonna say your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say you didn't see Temataro on the day of the incident. Why then did you assume just now that Temataro would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Temataro Jinxie saw held the staff in his hands, and she described its sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding the staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Temataro doesn't use the staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Temataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right, there's no staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. Heck! So the question is, why does the witness think Temataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case, and in the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court whether you're going with this. Mr. Filch actually saw Temataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Pose it again. Bloody. Yes, how'd that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Temataro that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, please don't make me say it. But clearly you did see Temataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact. No can do, no way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Temataro even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why. Isn't that like a superstition? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it. Yep, you can't look at him, and then you can't tell anybody what you saw. Jinxie went admit seeing Tamataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone she had seen Tamataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? Ah, so Mr. Big Time City Seeker Lawyer has heard about him? Them old village superstitions? Would the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Tamataro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. Do not gaze. Do not tell us you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. See, that's why us folks in Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Tamataro. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Tamataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Tamataro impersonator is the true killer. What?
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of fool would actually believe such rubbish? It's supposed to be British. You need to come up with a more rational, common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Try living in my world in narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark, sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might even make you a believer. Rawr. I can't get over that ponytail. Order! You fool of Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me. Sorry, I promise not to do it again. Talk on, my fine feathered friend. Have at him. Yipes, he's gonna eat me alive after this! He took off. Bailiff, what are you waiting for? After him and with your fastest men. That's certainly not something you see every day. Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai Tamataro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections? Uh-oh. What? Huh? His shackles. I'm too young to die. Justice done? Long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. Eek! He just hides. What's his deal, bro? Detective, do something. I have no fear. Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us. Oh, but I said it. All of Simon Blackwell is the sense of justice that set him free. Objection! I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice. What is going on?
Silence!
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could I ask you to, I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tamataro is the real killer, not Mayor Tema. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right, and that yokai, rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Kyobi.
Silence!
Kyobi. Eesh! He just silences me. Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the fox chamber? What? He's right. She said nothing about Temataro being in the fox chamber. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp here heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is? Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewed murder victim and a homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. I don't know why I made him British now. Because he's... I don't know. No, there must have been someone dressed like Tema. Then why does that little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the fox chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Temataro inside the fox chamber? There is but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tema whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last it shall be sated.
Wait, this is still a trial, right?
Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Donald.
We're getting attacked by a bird!
Very well then, both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. The court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Hey! 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess. Just so. Plenty of time for your destination of intent is the loo. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. I declare Prosecutor Glackwell the winner of this round of Simon Says. Doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? He busted out of his shackles. Yeah, what was that all about? Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Temataro impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy and the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel. No, wait. Let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence, okay? I suppose it could wait till later. Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here? Athena, I'm gonna go wash up. Remember what Blacko said, Apollo. Don't be late. I believe our next witness is Jinxie Tema, maid at Kyobi Manor. I believe we can proceed now if the witness is ready. Oh. Narion, leader of the 100 demons, he really does exist. Wow, that's one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face while in court and her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child? Go on, Narion. Leader of the... Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as a judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar and the demon of dual process, if you will. Hey, my charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one. Now, you little scamp. Yes? I trust you know why you're here. Bags. Bags? Oh, that tricksy tanuki. Try the noodle stand and go enjoy a big bowl of tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. No, I meant your bags. The one under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azukiari away. Azukiari. Oh my gosh, I can't. That yokai that washes Azuki beans. The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. Azukiari keeps people at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick the charm in your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. Is that so? Well, thank you. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together those two are just plain creepy. Your testimony, if you please, Mr. Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenmataro when you discovered the crime scene. When I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember, yokai right in that room. Well, yeah, because she wants to free her father. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime? Lots of them. Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tamataro happen to be amongst them? I don't know, I just know all I know is the room is swimming in yokai. Sasha, Nervi, Seto Shasho, they were all there. Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. Have this court listen to this delusional little scomp's testimony. Eek!
Hold it!
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. We're doing therapy now? What? With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? Makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt there shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. I'll show you. What a weird mechanic. Let me solve your feelings. Did I see Tamataro? Yep. Found something. Where? Looks like an out-of-control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this is one of the widget's functions. Right here you can see the images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing can do that, all this? Pretty cool, huh? And here I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of her rampant emotions? Yes, that's right. Her fear is instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was and still is seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally hit probe again and try to get the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give it a try.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name of that yokai on the Wheel of Fire? That's Akasha, a yokai that steals bodies of recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can see things for what they are. Or can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
The light fixture? This one right here. That has the flame design and it's up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai in a Wheel of Fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. This is a weird mechanic. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that we've gotten the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about this whole white wall-like monster? That's Nurikabi? Help me. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Eek. And this raccoon dog isn't a Tanuki monster. It's just the statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue. Alright, we're getting better. You did it, Apollo! Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. They're running a yokai after all. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber. Right. Never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact position of their original assertion. Wait, Jinxie, what about the Temataro? There wasn't anyone other dressed like Temataro or any of the yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking! Order! I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you in on it. At least you could. It's the least I could do. No! Apollo, can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update. Alright.
Got it!
The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage in that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me. Okay, I'll enter a sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Ah, look! I'm so confused. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Okay. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes there was, but I realized I'd done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Oh yeah.
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a nine-tails flower there at the scene, did you? The Demon Slayer strikes again. Or Demon Slayer. The Demon Lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a nine-tails flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene? That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant. Sorry. It does seem to be a sort of case. Look, something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your baldness? This is none other than the master key to Kyobi Mana. Are you certain of this? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is? Until Jinxie Temma opened the Fox chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world, and there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. Air vent. A killer other than Mayor Temma himself would be utterly inconceivable. Air vent.
Objection!
How could this happen? Freak out. The defense assistant will refrain from growling her frustration. Athena, are you alright? I know Mayor Temma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do. This sucks. Psych Stono, allow me to put you out of your misery. Can I decline your offer? Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept. Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Well, he's not gonna fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right out into his trap. Now I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed. Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo? Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what did you object to? Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. My reflexive objection. Well, I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Now, do you have anything that could overturn the prosecution's case? Actually I do. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine. Apollo, you do have something more than your quartz of steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But I got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? The vent. You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another. Bad conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono. Time to do or die, literally. The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room. You sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need to think about escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's up too high, and there's nothing you can stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they said, simple is best. Was he just hiding in the room? We need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to the Fox chamber. Whoa. The reason the Fox chamber's hallway door was locked is because... How about... What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door and then locked it. Aye! Consider this, the master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact. Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which doesn't seem like a contradiction. If only we could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. There's just more keys. Let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? What do you mean change? How would you change the lock? What if someone threw it into the room from outside? You know, something like go out the hallway door, lock the room, then toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There is a cliff outside the fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere else other than the window, like the air vent. Somewhere other than the window.
Take that!
The air vent. Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The fox chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the fox chamber, then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber. That's preposterous. Oh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'm fine. I'll explain it so even Your Honor can understand. This is not how we make friends. First, the real killer disguised as Tenma Taro murdered the alderman in the fox chamber. Then they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing, even I could follow that. The judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up as Tamataro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in the room. I'm amazing. Yes, I know. I know. Don't you dare yell silence or objection. Order. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence!
Don't you dare silence me, little more chemical romance wannabe. A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed the mark. Huh? Both the little scamp and the tricksty Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? That irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door. That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the... Aye! But that is impossible without being spotted by the foyer security camera, that is. Yeah. Is this a door over here? Or windows? The electric eye here would have captured any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Tamataro anywhere in the security footage. What? Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. That's what I was thinking. Hey, you're right.
Silence!
Oh, you silence me. Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one. No! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window? What the heck, right? Huh. I suppose your next proposal is the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Yeah, we do. Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you can prove the killer could fly? I can. I have evidence. Whoa, I thought I was the only one with cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor. It's this one, right? Yeah.
Take that!
Take a look at this special edition paper. Tamataro, Real or Flight of Fancy. What does that article prove, Mr. Justice? Oh, sorry, I misread it, but I don't care. I'm not reading it again. The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window. Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting. Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer, disguised as Tamataro, flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence!
You silence. It is your brain that has flown to the coop. That image is not but a trick photography or some other form of artifice. Okay then, how about the Tamataro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? No, there's a rational, common-sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai, our tricksty tanuki witness, never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't like where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Temma or his daughter, Jinxie Temma. However, we know the Mayor Temma was already unconscious at the time. Not good at all. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Stono? The falsified yokai remnants, and the appearance of Tamataro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma. Uh-oh. This is not good. Ah! No! Please! Please! We have to investigate again, don't we? I hate investigating. Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever. Okay. The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwood's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It is time I interrogated her as the samurai of yore would. Phoenix! Phoenix! No, never mind. Mayor Temma? This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Temataro's true identity is... Now, Mr. Mayor, it would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. It's the French dude! Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce. Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait. Apollo, Prosecutor Black was up to his mind games again. Mayor Temma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is... Mayor Temma's gonna confess unless we do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away. What? Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return. Huh? Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. Caw. Caw, foolish mortals. I am Tamataro, the yokai you seek. Mayor Tenma? Silence! I am Tamataro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King. What the? Demon King? Well then, I think, take a vacation. It's time to take a vacation. The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tamataro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tamataro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tamataro, you say? Huh, what nonsense. So Mayor Temma is a yokai now? Caw. His body is now mine. So you're saying the Mayor Temma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie Temma and Phineas Filch saw? And the one captured in the newspaper photos, those were all you? The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claimed the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party. The true killer, the one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. I think he possessed somebody else. Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real in a matter of speaking. For the real Outerman's killer is none other than Mr. Tenma. And the yokai at the scene? That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? It seems I must spell it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the other men in the fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charm from the forbidden chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the other man had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled into the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
Wait, but he was there, unconscious in the room. But when we arrived in the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. Okay. How's that possible if he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of Kyobi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Oh, no. The Frenchman. Caw, 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 caw. That too is easily explained. Is it actually a demon? Caw, 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 caw. Flew about for a time did I, but presently tired I made for the forbidden chamber. I don't want to do a monster voice right now. But alas, exhaustion took me unaware to the fox chamber and I knew no more. Be seen the pieces are still in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real life? The rumor is true? Caw! Caw caw! Order! Now he's gotten everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, Your Baldness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Caw, caw, caw. Plus, I've already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice.
Silence!
This is the dark age of the law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Stone.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. The guilty verdict is... What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What in the devil was that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? It seems you found that quite shocking! It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. Oh! Your Honor, you need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackwell will remain on his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Well, in that case, that concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. What the heck just happened? What the